hard to guard. The scoreboard reflected that. There was a series of runs you're going to have. It was a tough game. Tough game. You know, all losses are tough, but I felt like we competed. And then when we went through a really tough stretch, they were making shots. We could have a few possessions. You know, maybe you can do a little more. You know, but they put a lot of pressure on you from the 3-point line, and then put you in closeout situations, and you know, get to the basket.
I was going to say, coming out of the half, it was just a little bit of a flat start that helped Indiana get sort of into a rhythm, or was it just that they were playing maybe a little bit more physically?
No, I think, to be honest with you, you know, we didn't get stops, and obviously the result of that being their scoring, of course, but also, you know, you don't get a chance to get out, and you know, we were good in transition. You know, and there were some deep threes, there were some blow-by drives when we were trying to contest threes. But I think that, you know, obviously there's other stretches during the game, and there's stretches that we had, and it is a game of runs. We saw that tonight.
Coach, from what I could see from the eye, the team's focus was there from the start to the finish. Can you just talk about how, I don't want to capitalize on the losses, but how those 2 losses kind of taught you guys how to come closer to closing this one out?
Well, you know, I've said it before, and it rings hollow. You know, when you lose a game, it's competitive. You feel like you're right there. But I do feel that, you know, we're trying to improve all the time, and to the extent that even the starts of the games, it's something we talked about. You know, and you know, not anything you can hang your hat on, but we will look at, you know, the execution and some of the things that hurt us, and again, try to keep working on them as we're also playing games. You know, and you got to bounce back tomorrow night.
I also wanted to ask about your trust in Logie. You had those 3 fouls in the first quarter, but you left him in there and trusted him. Can you just talk about how he played tonight and your trust in him?
Yeah, it's actually something I've talked to DeAndre about when he picked up a couple early. I think you know, if I'd rather play him, and if he picks up his 3rd foul, let's do it then. You know, because it's not something you do all the time. You kind of feel the game, but he is a rhythm player, and he looked like he was in a groove anyway. So leaving him in there just, to me, made sense tonight.
With Halliburton, you guys held him to 11 points in the first half, and then he kind of exploded in the second half. What was the adjustment that he made that, I guess, made that possible for him?
He moved back, for one thing, and you know, was shooting his step back, and at his height, it's a tough shot to contest if he gets it off, and he was making them, you know, from that high quadrant, and you know, we started trying to hit him in the backcourt. There weren't as many opportunities to blitz him and pick and roll because they were just spacing, but he's obviously a really good player. And you know, we had some of the same offense on our side too. It was one of those games where you felt like the last team that had the ball, you know, one of those games. But like I said, he's a real good player, and you know, it's tough when he's as good a passer as he is, because if you do try to double team him and get it out of his hands, and we tried to do that and denied it back to him. Just a lot of work, and it's usually 5 guys when you get in that situation. And for a team that shoots it that well, you put yourself in some tough spots when you double as well. But it made sense after he got going.
Quin, I know it's not the outcome you wanted, but I wanted to ask you about Trey's defense tonight. I mean, you got that stop late, he drew the charge. Just what did you think of his defensive effort?
You know, I'm glad you asked me that. I've been saying it the whole year, you know, and you know, to whatever extent there's a narrative that develops about someone. He's been good off the ball. He's been good on the ball. He's competed. You know, I can show you a long edit of the times he's picked up full court, and someone should talk about it. You know, it's not, you know, when you talk about Trey tonight, you talk about what a great offensive game he had, and he did. But it's one of the things that I've told him, even early in the year when some of his shots weren't going, you know, he didn't stop defending. That's good to see, you know, from all our guys. That's the mentality we have to have. And, you know, there are some things tonight that obviously defensively we can do better, and we played against a team that can score.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.